Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Foreign Secretary J. Shankar, Ambassador Nalin Suri, distinguished guests, our Afghan colleagues in Indian audience, Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I'm honored to be invited to this prestigious institution, Indian Council of World Affairs. And I think it's an opportunity to express my gratitude as an Afghan and also as Chief Executive in the National Unity Government for the support that India has given to Afghanistan, for your contributions in the well-being of our people in the past 16 years, but equally important, for your support during our resistance against Taliban and Al-Qaeda prior to September 11. Relations between Afghanistan and India, which is founded in the bonds of history and culture of both countries and both nations, was further strengthened in the past 16 years with your generous contributions, which, as Foreign Secretary rightly mentioned, it has made a difference to the lives of millions of people. And we are grateful, and I'm here to thank you, your country and your people for your support. If it is in the field of education or health or building infrastructure, capacity building, energy, building the Parliament House, in many, many other spheres of life, including support that you provided for our security, all has contributed in its own way in stabilization of our country, in pursuit of our democratic aspirations, and also betterment of lives for our people. Previous administration led by former President Hamid Karzai and current administration led by President Ghani, all of us, some of our ministers are present here. We have been a witness to an open door, wholehearted goodwill from your officials, your people, your business community. And my visit yesterday, my call on the President, my discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Minister of External Affairs and other colleagues which I met yesterday, and also my participation in India-Afghanistan Trade and Investment Show, which is called the Passage to Prosperity. All were further indications or further steps towards strengthening the bonds of friendship between, further strengthening bonds of friendship between both countries and both nations. The recent second round of strategic partnership talks at the foreign ministerial level, and also the new development partnership programs, which as a result 116 projects were identified. And yesterday, Trade and Investment Show, which Afghan business communities as well as Indian business communities had participated, but that was supported by the United States and in full support and facilitation through our American friends. This also created another opportunity for furthering the goals of our nations, which is stable, prosperous, and connected region through healthy networks, which are networks of cultural bonds, trade, transit, investment, peoples to peoples relations, education, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, this coincides with the announcement of the policy, South Asia policy by the United States. Talking about the situation in Afghanistan, there are two sides to it. One is the efforts and aspirations of millions of people, men and women, old and young, and children of the country, which aspire for a peaceful, stable Afghanistan, democratic Afghanistan, prosperous Afghanistan, and the efforts of millions of people in this path, which has changed the face of Afghanistan from what it used to be, let's say 16 years back. The sacrifices that our people are making and the support that we receive from the international community and from friendly countries like India, which has enabled us to pursue our goals. That is one. Once again, I repeat that yesterday's trade and investment show was a symbol of that. In the spirit of our talks, that Foreign Secretary, yourself, and Ambassador were both present with the Prime Minister, with the passion that Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses himself in his desire to help Afghanistan and to help Afghanistan and the people of Afghanistan to achieve its goal. It's Prime Minister Modi's visit to Kabul, his speech in the Parliament of Afghanistan, and later on the visit to Herat, the furthest part of the country. His historical speech in the Parliament of Afghanistan is remembered not just by us as politicians and officials, but also by the representatives of the people of Afghanistan. The way that he was received as a leader of a friendly country which was there to help, which was there to pay tribute to the sacrifice of a nation which has stood against terror, but at the same time making strives towards better lives, not just for its own people, but also to play its rightful place and position, in role, in connecting the region, in contributing to the prosperity of the region itself. That is remembered very well, and yesterday it was once again reflected in the meetings that I had with our distinguished Indian friends here in New Delhi. The future of our relations, the future of our region, I have no doubt in my mind, will be one of healthy politics and friendly relations in peaceful neighborhood. At the same time, there is no doubt that there are serious challenges that we are faced. And these challenges are not unique to Afghanistan or to this region, but Afghanistan happened to be in the forefront of the challenge. I was supposed to be in New Delhi the day before yesterday, and because of the terrorist attack on Kabul International Airport, my visit was delayed. But I was determined to come. And as I mentioned yesterday in the inauguration of the Trade and Investment Show here in New Delhi, they could cause us some delays, but they could not stop us. That's my message. When we see to the two faces of the situation, two sides of the situation, one is the efforts and aspirations of millions of people, peaceful, dignified, for better lives, for peaceful existence within and without. The one is the efforts of a minority, a tiny minority group, to disturb the lives of the people, to disturb the opportunities which are there, not just for one country, one nation, but for the region and beyond, through acts of terror. Which one will prevail? I have no doubt in my mind. Which one? Wisdom will prevail. Human dignity will prevail. Acts of terror are condemned worldwide and condemned to failure. In those who are supporting it should not take pride into what they are conducting. And that's the two sides of the story in Afghanistan. The South Asia policy announcement, which has a regional aspect in it, we have welcomed it in Afghanistan. In its impact on the situation in Afghanistan, because of the certainty that it has created by just announcing that it is not time-bound, but it is condition-based. That in itself has removed that uncertainty which was there, which had its own impacts. At the same time, the recognition of the rightful role of India as a global player, but at the same time in this region as a very preeminent economic force, that is also there. And I would say that this provides an opportunity for all, for those who are fighting, who think that they could come back by force. There is a message in it. For those who have supported those activities, there is a message in it. But at the same time, there is an opportunity. There is a real opportunity. We all have choices to make, and I hope that all players in this region make the right choices. The fact that the forces of evil and darkness cannot prevail forever, but at the same time they can create hindrances, they can create headaches, they can create impediments. These are the realities of life, well recognized. At the same time, talking about peace, regional peace. In Afghanistan, at the beginning in 2001, post September 11th, when the international community stepped in, there was a broader consensus on how to move forward with Afghanistan in different countries, in the region, in our neighborhood, as well as beyond the region, helped Afghanistan. Today, there are slight changes. There are new threats emerged, including Daesh, and some countries perceive Daesh as the main threat. Some think that terrorism is terrorism under whatever name that has to be dealt with. These are some of the differences about the outlook of some of the countries in our region, in broader region, towards the situation in Afghanistan. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, two things are very evident. First, we have not made differences between terrorist groups, good and bad, at any time, and we will not going to do that. Terror is terror. That's first thing. Second thing, Afghanistan has not threatened its neighbors and has not been a threat to its neighbors and will not be a threat to its neighbors, will not pose any threat to its neighbors. We have extended hands of friendship to all countries around Afghanistan. Certainly we have expected countries to reciprocate. The picture is very clear. It doesn't need further explanation by me. It has become very evident, not just in this part of the world, but worldwide, globally. The challenges identified. How to deal with it? Different ways and methods have been used. Denial is one. To see the problem, to live with it, and deny it. That can only lead to the exacerbation of the problem. in deepening of the challenges and further complications of the complicating situations. That's the outcome of denial. And also suffering because of that in later stages. We might not be able to see it now, but certainly they will show themselves. The consequences of our actions will show itself, has shown it already, but with more clarity. That's one way. The next method will be to identify the challenge and deal with it and show resolve in determination. And the most important decision by any country in this region or around the world to make in order not to regret the consequences in the future will be to make a decision once and forever that terrorism will not be used as an instrument of pursuing foreign policy objectives at all. That's the fundamental decision that is expected from every country in this region or beyond. The rest of it is how to pursue your legitimate interest, how to seek your legitimate interest in the neighborhood or broader region. While terrorism has been an impediment, but it has not stopped the people of Afghanistan from changing their lives, or friends of Afghanistan to help Afghanistan achieving their goals. Afghanistan can play its rightful place as a bridge between South Asia and Central Asia. We are working together in India, in Islamic Republic of Iran has taken lead in operationalization of Chabahar. We hope, as India announced it, that India will contribute further in the 1 year target of full operationalization of Chabahar. From that, Afghanistan will benefit, India in Iran, and also Central Asian republics will benefit from it. We are looking forward to that. We will be a witness to the first act of operationalization by receiving the shipments of wheat through Chabahar in a few days' time. But then with further work, that aspiration will materialize. In the same way, when you look at the different projects, Minister of Energy will be traveling to the United Arab Emirates today. The rest of the delegation has gone there. That's about CASA 1000, which is a regional electricity transmission project, an important one, Central Asia, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And TAPI, which is a gas pipeline. A lot of work was done. Earlier, President Ghani was in Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is the starting point of that project. And there are other railway projects, infrastructure projects, trade and transit facilities, which will all contribute to peace, to regional peace. So the decision by all countries in the region to use healthy methods, healthy networks to achieve legitimate interest, there is a big opportunity for everybody. And the efforts of the terror networks to connect the region through their ways of life is also there. Only the resolve of the nations in this region can together can stop it. As far as peace in Afghanistan is concerned, our position has been very firm. While we have the legitimate right to defend our country, to defend our people, we have stood ready for talks and negotiations. And we have never closed the doors for talks and negotiations. Hopefully, through cooperation and sincere cooperation in working together, we achieve that. Once again, thank you, Ambassador Suri, for providing the opportunity. In the distinguished audience, I see a lot of familiar faces lots of friends from India and also members of the diplomatic community present here in New Delhi. Good to see you all here. You have helped in your previous positions. Each one of you have contributed to the well-being of our people, and we are thankful to you. And I'm sure that together we can make big difference in the interest of all. Once again, best for all of you. And now I think I move to the more difficult part, which is questions and answers. How do I like me to do that? Shall I sit here or do it here?
Whichever way you are comfortable.
I think I'll do it here.
Yeah,
Okay?
Okay, maybe please.
Perhaps I explained the situation in a way that no question was left. So.
May I request a round of applause for the Chief Executive?